continuing with the Mammoth Lakes edition of the Quarantine Chronicles. I am at a lake that is just outside Mammoth Lakes. It's about a 40-minute hike from the trailhead. I've been here once before. The fishing was consistent last time, so we'll see what it's like now. Like any place outside of Mammoth right now, the lake is crowded. So I think I'll go over to that rock, sit down, drink some water, gear up, and then plot my strategy. Now, last time I fished along that bank because there were swimmers over there, and there are swimmers over there again. According to highcountryflyfisher.com, I caught fish here, I caught fish over there, I caught fish in the stream on a fly I no longer carry, which is the killer bug. I did remember, and my my website confirms it, that there were cased caddis here, and then I saw a big cased caddis, but I didn't have any cased caddis flies. I do today, so that may be in the mix. I walked the bank from here to there. I haven't seen any active fish, but there's some deeper water here, and there's a drop off, and I can see cased caddis in the water. It's about 6 o'clock, which will give me about an hour to fish. And I started fishing on what is arguably the most fished on rock in this lake. It's easy access, it's sort of a point, so it makes logical sense. I'll have about an hour to fish today, maybe an hour and a half if I'm pushing it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work down this bank as much as is accessible, and then I'll work my way around and work the bank all the folks are swimming on. I got on a cased caddis because of the history that I've had here seeing cased caddis and fishing a killer bug, which imitates a caddis larva in a pinch. I've also got on a stillwater nymph, which I've been fishing a lot. So it's pretty cold out and fairly windy. And the interesting thing is the glare is such that I can't actually see my fly land when it lands in the water. I've switched flies. I've switched to the beadhead gold ribs hare's ear, mainly because I thought the cased caddis was sinking too quickly, and the fly was actually getting out of the feeding zone too quickly. I did have one fish rise in front of me, which makes me think that they're higher in the water column than I was previously fishing. It's also an indication that maybe I should put on a dry, but I'm not quite ready to do that yet. Okay, I am having a hard time with my line today. I've got my gloves on, and that makes it a little bit harder. And what do we got here? A small fish, and it's off. Okay, well that was like a 4-inch fish. So, and he was on the stillwater nymph. But does kind of confirm that I'm doing better in the feeding zone. Not quite the kind of fish I'm looking for. I spent way too long on that rock, but since I switched flies, I wanted to make sure that I covered the water. So I probably fished there twice as long as I wanted to. It is getting dark, it is cold. I'm not sure how much longer I'll be out here. But keep trying along these rocks. Here's where that caddis nymph would have paid off. So I'm standing on a rock, and there's a rock in front of me, and then it just drops. And there could be fish down there, but the fly that I'm fishing now is not heavy enough to get down there quickly. Man, this wind. So in this glare, it's a real struggle to see my fly hit the water. So it's hard to tell if I'm getting good casts. So I've decided to stop fighting the wind and try the other side of the lake. I'm getting wind knots and tangles and losing flies and everything else that tries to come with casting into a headwind. It's good water. It really is good water. And maybe if I had gotten out here a little bit earlier, when I could actually see, and when the wind wasn't so bad, might have improved my chances. I mean, for me, I'm a very visual fly fisher, and when I have a hard time seeing, it really does, throw a monkey wrench in things. With the wind coming right at me, I'm not getting the distance, I'm not getting the fly placement. The fly's coming back to me faster than I would like, so I'm not getting the retrieve that I want. So, all that stuff matters. I've come across to the other side of the creek. I was over there previously, and believe it or not, the wind is still in my face. I was thinking I would fish these logs, because logs are always good for holding fish. I'm sure there's fish, just sort of sitting under that big log. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get over there though with this wind. I may go over on these rocks, maybe fish this area. Yeah, what the heck? I'm going to throw some casts in there, or at least try to. See what happens. We'll see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? I could lose my fly. That's about the worst that could happen. Should be able to throw a couple casts in there. Okay, so this isn't a bad angle. I'm going to do a 5-second countdown at first, just to try to keep it above the sticks. Hope that anything below the sticks is attracted enough to come up and take my fly. So I've made a bunch of casts in here. I did manage to hang up, so I can only go down to a 15 count. I think anything below that is going to get me into underwater brush. Fish that down to 10 seconds. And really, if I don't get a fish within, I don't know, the first 10 feet or so of my retrieve, then I probably am not going to get a fish in these sticks, because they're going to be underneath the brush mostly. And yeah, I need a heavier weight line, heavier weight rod, every excuse that you can imagine right now. Really, all I need is better casting technique. Well, that was quite interesting. Tough conditions to be sure, wind and you know, low visibility problems. You know, it's obvious to me that if I'm gonna come up and do these short trips, I'm gonna have to fish a little smarter than I have been. You know, typically I can get to a lake and you know, within 30 minutes I've picked up a fish. But you know, later in the day it's more difficult. The sun's not on the water, so it's harder to spot fish. So you know, instead of going to the shady side of the lake, I probably should have gone to the sunny side of the lake. The wind's up, which is going to make casting more difficult, spotting fish more difficult, all those sorts of things. And I've been sort of just kind of coming up willy-nilly and just sort of doing my thing without, you know, really employing any any high country fishing principles, just kind of walking up to the lake and start fishing it. So I'm probably gonna have to fish a little bit smarter on the next lake, whatever lake that might be. If I'm lucky, I may run into a bear. There's lots of bears here, and you know, it's dusky, so hopefully you know, hopefully I'll spot a bear on the way back. But if not, I hope you found the hike interesting and the conditions interesting, and thanks for coming along. So this little guy startled us. Let's let him go his own way. And we kind of startled him when we got startled. I didn't even see him come up.